I just read one of the wildest crazy roommate story times that I've ever gotten for this series. This story came from a girl named Jamie. Jamie said that her old roommate told her that she was part of an inner earth civilization and that she was immortal. And when I read this, I was like, what is going on? And then when I got to the ending, I was like, what is going on? So this girl, Jamie, messages and she says, yeah, I lived with this girl. We had a mutual friend. Like, she was kind of part of my social circle, but I didn't know her that well. She had a room opening up. I needed a room. So she moves in with this girl whose name is Jen. Jen's name has been changed to protect her privacy. And this takes place in Nashville, which is actually where I live, but I don't know these people. So they had certain things in common. Like, Jamie said she's really into astrology. Jen was really into astrology, and actually one of the first things they ever did when they met was like compare the times that they were born and their birth charts and their compatibility as friends. But for Jamie, who sent the story, this was like more of a hobby. For Jen, this was her entire life. She was the type of person to not sleep with her phone in her bedroom because she thought that the electromagnetic waves were interfering with her aura, things like that. Jen was very into meditation and practicing mindfulness. She did not have social media. She was single, but she didn't do online dating because she thought that she needed to meet people organically because whoever was put on her path was put there for a reason. And actually at first, Jamie liked living with Jen because Jen was teaching her all kinds of things about mindfulness and manifestation. She was teaching her how to speak things into existence. She wasn't teaching her how to do it with like vision boards or the power of positive thought. She was teaching her to do it with a whispering method she called echo looping. Pause to say that I'm very into manifestation and I've never heard of echo looping. But anyway, Jen tells Jamie that if she whispers her intentions between 3:10 and 3:30 in the morning and then drinks sun water, manifestation becomes easier because you can bypass something called the electromagnetic gatekeepers. Like, I've never heard of this. Jamie said sun water was basically just water you left out in the sun. But to her surprise, it actually worked in some ways. Like, she got a raise. She had chronic jaw pain that went away. And this was an issue that she was plagued with for as long as she could remember. And she felt more energized and emotionally regulated than she had felt in years. And she tells Jen this. And Jen says, oh yeah, that's just because you're just remembering who you really are. They're living together for a couple months when Jen leaves for what she calls a harmonic yoga retreat. And this wasn't that uncommon. She did retreats like this fairly often. But on this particular trip, she comes home after 3 days without her bag. She's barefoot. She's got leaves and sticks in her hair. And when she walks in, Jamie's in the kitchen and she's like, how was it? And she's like, I don't want to talk right now. She's like, I'm really tired. I've crossed through and I can't speak about it until the moon wanes. So Jamie's like, okay, I guess we'll talk about it tomorrow. And Jen goes to bed. And then she doesn't leave her room for 3 days. Like, she would come out to use the bathroom and stuff, but then she would just go back in her room and go right back to sleep. So Jamie's like, I guess whatever she did really wore her out. On the third night after Jen came back, Jamie woke up at 3:22 in the morning. She was going out to the kitchen to do her echo looping practice for manifestation. When she walks out in the kitchen, she sees Jen out there pacing back and forth. It almost looks like she's sleepwalking and she's whispering to herself, but it was like whispering really, really fast. Like she was reciting something from memory. So Jamie's like, Jen, are you awake? Like, what's going on? And Jen just looks at her and says, oh, you weren't supposed to see that yet. She's like, good. That's very good because it means you're remembering. She's like, it means you're almost ready. And Jamie's like, what are you talking about? And I guess that's when Jen decides it's appropriate to just tell her that she is from Middle Earth. Like, she says she's from Agartha, which I guess according to her is a city that lies beneath the surface of the earth. And she says she was sent to the earth's surface to help wake people up in cycles. She tells Jamie she's one of these people. And Jamie's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. She's like, yeah, your lineage belongs to the 13th spiral. I don't know if this is a thing. I don't know if it's just a thing in Jen's world, but that's what she tells her. And she starts going on and on about how the veil is getting thinner and that Jamie needs to wake up. And Jamie's like, I still am not following. She said she wasn't like creeped out. Like, she actually remembers thinking as it was happening that Jen was just messing with her. She said she actually remembers kind of laughing out of nervousness or like to get Jen to break character, but she didn't. Instead, she just said that the ones who guard the openings are getting tired and that there are breaches and that she should pay attention to humming noises before power outages. She says when you notice patches of cold air, that's not weather, that's leakage. And Jamie said she was just at a loss. Like, she had no idea what was going on with this girl. She just let her talk and talk. But it all culminated when Jen said, yeah, I don't die like you do. And she ends the conversation with saying something like, yeah, well, the moon's waned, so we can talk about it more tomorrow. So I'll see you tomorrow. Good night. And she just goes back in her room. So Jamie's like, weird. And the next day she brings it up to her and she's like, what was last night about? Like, were you on something? Like, were you drinking? And Jen's like, no, that was all true. And just goes about her day like normal. Jamie said like she just let it go kind of after that. Like, she would bring it up from time to time. And Jen was always happy to elaborate on what she was talking about. But she fully believed that she was from Middle Earth and that she was immortal. Like, even when they were out or something, Jamie would bring it up and Jen would just agree and be like, yeah, that's true. And this belief didn't seem to be affecting her in a negative way, so I guess Jamie just kind of let it go, like she was otherwise a good roommate. Until about a month later, all the pipes burst on the floor above them and the apartment complex flooded. I actually think I know which building this was. Like, I remember an apartment complex getting flooded around here and them having to vacate a bunch of the units. But I don't know, she didn't say the name of it. But anyway, they have to move out. Like, their apartment is just done for. But while their apartment was flooding, Jen was just standing calmly in the living room while Jamie was like frantically putting everything into trash bags trying to get out of there. And Jen just said, this was all going to happen anyway. This is just alignment. So Jamie calls another friend of hers. She's going to go stay with her, and she's like, where are you gonna go? And Jen says, oh, I know some people out in McMinnville, which is a town like outside of Nashville. And she's like, yeah, but you don't know these people and you couldn't go there unless they invited you. So they leave the place kind of in chaos, and 3 days go by, and then she texts Jen. She's like, hey, are you doing okay? Like, how's your friend's place? And Jen just doesn't respond. And she chalked it up to her like going off grid or just not having signal wherever she was. She would text her again and again, and she never got a response. Her number is still active, but she's never responded to Jamie. So Jamie tries not to overthink it. She's like, I guess she just didn't want to be friends anymore. Like, whatever, life goes on. Until a couple months later, she's like looking on the social app with the red logo. It's a forum, you know what I'm talking about. She comes across a post in a niche community about geological hums. She said it wasn't like I was like actively searching out that information. It was just suggested to me, so I looked at it. But apparently people all over the world hear these geological hums right before power outages or weird weather, and she's intrigued because she remembered what Jen had said about geological hums. So she starts reading, and one of the top comments mentioned one of these strange hums just outside of McMinnville, Tennessee on the exact same night that the apartment flooded. She said it was goosebumps when she read a comment responding to that, which said, the McMinnville tone was unusually loud. There's a person I know who reported missing time. The bird stopped singing for a full 48 hours. There are definitely people walking among us who are not us. She said, Ashley, my stomach dropped when I read McMinnville and the tone, and I read the date, because how could she have known, and why would she have behaved that way? Like, maybe it's just coincidence, but now I can't stop wondering.
Story time on how my ex-best friend started dating a guy that I was plotting on for months on end after calling him ugly several times. Here's another story time since you guys like them so much. Okay, so all of this started like the beginning of freshman year, and this is before I even moved out of my private school. And like when I tell you, I was literally plotting on this guy since like the first week of school. We had a class together, but I never really said anything to him, and like I didn't add him on Snap or anything because he was a grade above me. And like as any best friend would, I told my friend, I was like, hey, I've been plotting on this guy, like he's looking cute, like blah blah blah. Okay, so basically like a few days go by and I point out who he is to my best friend in the hallway. Literally her first instinct is, oh my gosh, girl, you could do so much better, like he's ugly, like girl, no. And I was kind of like, okay, well, let me figure it out, because good thing I'm interested and you're not, you know? So literally like 2 weeks goes by and I'm like just telling her about how much I'm interested, but I'm too scared to like ask for his Snap or anything. And then she comes up with this brilliant idea being like, oh my gosh, like let me ask him for his Snap so like I can add him, and then like you can add him from mutuals because we'll be mutuals. And I was like, oh my gosh, at the time I was like, genius, like boom. He'll never know. Like if he's not interested in me, then I'll just be like, oh, I added you from quick add, or like I'll just add him because like we're mutuals and we have a class together. So the time that she's supposed to ask him for his Snap or like ask his friend for his Snap comes up, and I get out of class and I'm like, oh my gosh, did you get it? And she was like, no, I chickened out, I didn't end up getting it. And I was like, oh darn it, okay, whatever. And she was like, I don't know if that's a good idea anymore, I just kind of like have a bad feeling. And I was like, dang it. So I was like, okay, I'll just probably ask him for his Snap a different time, like there will be an opportunity. So it ends up being the weekend, it's like Saturday, and I come over to her house to spend the night, and like she's low-key like hiding her phone from me the whole entire time, but I didn't notice that until like after the fact. And like to be honest, I wasn't suspicious of her because again, like I wouldn't think that she would do that to me. But so she went to the bathroom and left her phone unattended for the first time out of the whole entire night, and I was just on my phone, I wasn't even snooping, and all I hear is like from like Snapchat, and I just look over at her phone because like we're besties, and like I have her password and I'm allowed to check her phone because we're besties, you know, like we're just that kind of friends. And I check her phone and it's his Bitmoji. So I log into her phone and I see that she already has him added, and they've been talking for literally like 2 weeks. And then like honestly at that point I'm just baffled and I'm like so betrayed, and I wasn't like heartbroken because like I didn't even know him for real, but I was just like, how is she already talking to him? Like, and I was like kind of scrolling through their messages before she came, but I heard her coming, so I didn't really get to see much. And it was literally just her being like getting to know him, and like him calling her pretty and him and her calling him hot and stuff like that. And I'm like, girl, you literally just said that he was ugly, like too ugly for me. And I'm just like, so basically what ends up happening is like she comes out of the bathroom, I put her phone down like I didn't see anything. And I don't open the Snap, by the way, like I just half swipe and then like read their messages, and then I half swipe out so you can still see like the Snap is like hasn't been opened. And I'm like kind of being quiet and weird. She's like, why are you being weird? I'm like, I'm not. And then I told her, I was like, I know you've been snapping whatever his name is. And she goes like, what do you mean? Like, I'm not snapping him. And I was like, I know you asked for his Snap and you've been snapping him, like I saw it on your phone. And she was like, why are you going through my shit, like da da da. And she was like, that's such an invasion of privacy. And I was like, well, that's such an invasion of girl code. Like, you knew I liked him, like you like, and you literally called him ugly. And she was like, well bro, like we're not even talking, like da 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 da, like I just wanted to make sure that like he was a good guy for you and all that. And I'm like, well yeah, that's why you're calling him handsome, and that's like why you're flirting with him. But anyways, like I end up like telling my mom to come get me, and then like I just ghost her after that, and she was like, I'm so sorry, like I didn't mean to hurt you and all that. And I'm like, yes, you did mean to hurt me because like you knew I liked him, you know. So what ends up happening is I end up moving schools and I just ghosted her. So That's not why I moved schools, but like I didn't tell her that I was moving schools because I just found out about me moving schools like a couple days before. And yeah, so yeah, that's great.
One of the most traumatic alcohol-related situations that I was ever in with an ex-friend of mine was we were vlogging on our way back from an event, and we were driving my car. We were leaving this event, and I was like really, really sad about it because we were going separate ways from a lot of our friends, and I just kind of like started crying. I hadn't seen this person in like a while. I had no idea that they were struggling with alcohol. Like I thought when we were going to this event that weekend, like we were just gonna be partying it up like normal. Nothing could have prepared me for the issues that ended up happening that weekend that I had to deal with. So I was processing a lot in real time and kind of like really, really in denial because I was like, there's no way. During this road trip, our plan was to just switch driving halfway. I was gonna drive the first half, they were gonna drive the second half. As we're starting the road trip, I kind of noticed like my friend is talking a little weird. They kind of weren't even registering that I was crying. They were going on their own tangent for the vlog, but it made no sense. I quickly realized I needed to turn the camera off because something was like not right. They increasingly get more and more annoying and they keep repeating themselves, and someone who just repeats themselves because of alcohol, it's a huge trigger for me already because a few months prior to this I had to jump off of a roof via a ladder that I used to have next to my bedroom window to escape an alcoholic. So like I am well versed in this already, but still very young and very in denial. And I just go, okay, we're gonna go stop at a gas station, I need gas. And they were like, okay, I need to pee anyways. And I was like, okay. And then I noticed that they had this water bottle that I didn't recognize, and I noticed they're like slyly like pulling it in and out the side pocket of the car. We pull up to a gas pump, I park the car, they open the car door and they throw that water bottle that's still somewhat full into the trash can. And I'm watching in the rear view mirror as they walk into the gas station. And the second I see them get into the bathroom of the gas station, I open the car door, immediately just start bawling my eyes out, and I dig into the trash can, pull out that water bottle, and it is very much filled with tequila. Mind you, this is when this person is supposed to start driving my car the rest of the way home, an hour and a half. And they are now trashed, trying to hide it. So they're still in the bathroom and I am like panicking. I am in fight or flight. Now my friend thinks that they're about to get into my driver's seat of my car and drive my car for an hour and a half because they think that I can't tell that they are hammered. But I can tell, and I just found the water bottle. Like once again, I have already dealt with so many alcoholics in this point in my life that I know all the tricks of the trade. I was just in denial that this person was one. While I'm waiting for them to come back out of the bathroom from the gas station, I'm on the phone with somebody like fucking hysterical trying to figure out what to do, and right as my friend comes to the driver's seat, I hang up on whoever I was on the phone with, roll down the window, and I go, I'm driving. There was a part of me that was so angry. They were about to put us both in that position. I think I put my glasses on to try to like hide my tears because I am really just trying to like regulate myself and not cause a goddamn scene. After we got home, we were just chilling out for a couple hours. One of my friends who was like genuinely just a very safe space for me was staying in LA at that time and was staying at a hotel down the street. And he was like, why don't you guys come and visit and like say bye to me before I leave? And I was like, honestly, I think I need that. So I'm still trying to figure out if I should like address things with my friend or not, but I was like, I'm just gonna try to like have them leave in peace. We get back in my car, we drive over, we hang out with my friend for a little bit. You know, at this point, they're sober. So they're being normal, so it's easier for me to stay calm. And I'm like, okay, I can make it until the morning, until their flight. Like, I'm gonna be fine, I'm gonna be fine. I'm always capturing the moment, even if the moment doesn't really need to be captured. And as we were leaving this hotel, I just took my phone out and I was just taking like 0.5 selfies of us just like strutting out the hotel door. The next morning we wake up, I drop him off at the airport, I come back home. My roommate had texted me and said, whose bottle of tequila is this on the counter? Because we had like no alcohol at that time, and it was kind of like a ongoing joke that the only alcohol that we had was Selva-Ray rum, and now there's this mysterious giant bottle of tequila on our bar. And my roommate was like, that's not mine. And I was like, what? 20 minutes later, I get a text from my friend that we had visited the night before saying, did one of you guys take a bottle from my mini fridge because I just got charged like $200. I then check my camera roll, and in the 0.5 selfies that I'm taking of us leaving the hotel is them taking this bottle of tequila that neither of us saw them take. I'm taking a burst. So it's a burst of them sneaking this bottle of tequila under their long jacket, putting it between their armpit, and then putting their arm up, trying to like pose and hold their jacket for the pictures. Like I have a 0.5 burst of them stealing a bottle. I just want to make it 100% clear that I'm not sharing these stories to make myself a victim or to shame somebody for addiction. Like addiction is an illness, and I was raised to try to save everybody and everything from everyone and everything I could. Like, I have really had to work on rewiring my brain the past few years to learn what it looks like to choose myself, and that you have to walk away from some people to be able to choose yourself. This is just one story from a large part of my life that I have not shared online, where these things keep me up at night still, because I thought I was a horrible person for not being able to save someone no matter what they were dealing with. I internalized it so much and I completely lost myself. I damn near had no boundaries for like 21 years of my life. If you can relate to anything in this, please just try to remember that you are not a bad person for getting to that point where you have to choose your peace and sanity over what somebody else is going through. But also, if you are someone who is struggling with addiction, just please know I'm wishing all of the healing and support in the fucking world your way every single day, and I am rooting for you. You are loved more than you know.
Get unready with me while I tell you why you should never do anything with any guy from your school. Let me set the scenery. Me at 13 years old, freshman year of high school. I had a friend group. I was the most inexperienced out of my group. I was the youngest. I was 13. My friends were over 1 year older than me. I don't want to say there was pressure, but obviously I wanted to do the things my friends were doing. So in my friend group, I was closest with this one girl. We were very best friends, and there was this guy in our grade that she had a little situation with. They weren't dating, they weren't exclusive, but they were hooking up. I was third wheeling them a lot at one point of my life. Story of my life. Then all of a sudden, I'm hearing from his friends, from the rest of our friend group, that this man wanted to get with me. So I went up to my best friend and I was like, girl, you will not believe the rumors being spread around now. Because for some reason, I genuinely could not believe that anyone wanted to do that with me. I was, como se dice, ugly. Literally ugly. I was flattered, but I was like, girl, like, obviously I'm not going to do anything, whatever. This girl goes, no, you should. Did I just hear right? What do you mean? She was like, no, like, this is a great opportunity. You need to do this for yourself. Like, clutch the invisible pearls. That's what I did. Because I know if I was getting with a man and he was talking about that, I want to get with your best friend. Woo, child. I thought about it for a few days and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I need to do this for myself. I cannot be the duff of the friend group, honey. This ain't no Netflix series. So it was official. There was a group chat made. It was low-key like a group hangout. Like, it was multiple people. I think my friend and her boyfriend, this other duo that was hooking up as well. The whole nine, okay? I was so terrified. This man had already popped the cherry of another bitch at 14. The day before, I was calling my friend and I was like, I need to cancel. I need to exit the group chat. I need to just not do this with him. He's gonna take away the innocence my mother brought me with into this world. I was so dramatic, okay? And my friend was like, pucker the fuck up and calm down. So my friend who was friends with him was like, go easy on this girl. She's never done anything before. So he did. So the day comes. We were all at school that day for like some volunteering thing that we had to do on a weekend. And right after that, we took an Uber, ended up going to a fucking sandwich shop. How ghetto, how New York is that? Mind you, the whole way on the Uber, all of us were smashed because we didn't want to pay for an Uber XL. So this was tight. People was sitting on top of each other. Someone was sitting on top of him and I was crammed next to him. And he was like trying to put his arm around me. Bitch, your arm's hugging the window. So we arrive at the sandwich shop destination. I'm terrified. I'm nearly about to shit myself. So there's like 3 pairs of us. 2, 2, and 2. We're up front. We walk into the sandwich shop first. The vibes were giving like you needed to pay to use the bathroom of this place.
So this man pulls out his wallet, takes out some dollars, puts it in the tip jar, and we head for the bathroom. So this is like a wheelchair, all accessible, all gender neutral bathroom, and it's quite large. We head in there. The two groups, to our understanding, are waiting outside for us to be finished. So we're in the bathroom, we get to it. This was such, y'all, this man knew what he was doing, and that's the only reason why I don't regret this, because that really set the standard for everyone else after him. I don't know where he found these moves. I was on the sink at one point. I was back against the wall at the other. It was just good. He took control, and that's exactly what you want when it's your first time, because you don't know what the hell you're doing. You just need someone to take control, and then you follow. So I'm on the sink, and then he pulls back for a second. He looks at me. He goes, "Is this really your first time?" Insinuating that, like, you can't believe it because I'm good at what I'm doing. This is exactly how I said it. I was trying to be cute. I was like, yeah. Okay, we must have been up in that bitch for like 15 minutes. And then we heard something outside the door, and he was like, okay, I think we need to like give them a chance to do what they have to do. So we walk out. You know who's outside the door? A great, like, I want to say 85-year-old crippled woman, you know, on her little pusher. The walker. That's what it's called. A walker. You know what I'm talking about? And our friends that we came here with were not there. They were outside across the street for some strange reason. So we let the grandma take whatever she has to do in peace. We walk across the street. We realize that they're getting with each other somewhere else, not in this sandwich location. So he says to me, okay, do you want to go back? Like, they don't, like, it's fine. Let's just go back. So I just said, like, oh, no. I enjoyed my time. You know why? I am so dramatic. Can I just say, I thought I was contracting, like, hepatitis B or fucking herpes because my lips were hurting. You know, like, it's normal when you're making out with someone a lot, your lips are kind of sore. And it was my first time, so I really thought I was contracting some foreign disease or something. So I think he ended up, like, taking that in his head as, like, she did not enjoy this at all. You know, like, if she doesn't want to do this again with me. And poor timing, girl, because I ran over after I said no to my friends, and we were whispering and giggling, and I was telling the lore of how everything went. He took that as me whispering to them, saying, like, oh my god, this guy was so bad, whatever. We were all just looking at him and giggling like little 13-year-old girls do. And, like, news spread super fast. Like, I remember even before we hooked up, like, everyone knew something was happening between us that weekend. I came back to school on Monday. There was laughs and whispers as I walked through the hallways. Then, this kid from my grade comes up to me. And mind you, this man is in my DMs as of today. Like, he comes up to me, he's like, biter? Biter? What? Then people come left and right and they're like, oh my god, you were biting him? You bit him? What? This man thought that I had told everyone in my school that he was a bad hookup. Never was the case. So he tried to reverse something that never happened and resulted in me crying in the hallways. You know what was so cute though? Like, it made me see who my true friends were. I had people standing up for me. Like, I had boys from my grade, like, literally threatening to, like, do something because of what he said about me, which is, like, so cute. Like, so perhaps moral of the story, viewer discretion advised. You do what you want at the end of the day. I just know I cannot put myself in that position again. I can't describe how shitty I felt to be known as the biter for the rest of the school year. It was not pretty. I mean, it never stopped me because after those 2 months, I got with his best friend. But that's a story for another time. Anyway, it's beautiful in the beginning because it's so, like, pure and it's, like, convenient. You guys see each other all the time. But trust me, when shit goes left and you guys... Oh, did you just see my... You guys separate off into your ends. People know the pattern of panties you wore your first time you did anything with him. And that's just me putting it out there. Just be careful.
Story time on how my ex-best friend cried her way out of being exposed and then turned a whole entire friend group on me. Okay, so this happened in like 7th or 8th grade, and I was in a friend group of 4 girls. It was me, my best friend Kaylee, and then there was 2 other girls in the friend group. Okay, so basically, like, me and Kaylee were the kind of best friends that, like, we knew each other's families. Like, she came over all the time. We were inseparable. And then, like, occasionally there would be, like, a sleepover where, like, all 4 of us would stay over at someone's house. Okay, so fast forward to us being friends for a while now. I was starting to notice like little things would go missing like when she would come over. But like it literally started as like little things, like a pair of earrings and then like a mascara. I didn't really like think anything of it, but I was also aware because my parents told me to be like aware of those kind of things. But also like I didn't want to confront her because I didn't want to accuse her of anything because they're little things and they could easily have gone missing. And then kind of where everything starts to go downhill is she spent the night one night and then my Dior lip oil went missing and then a little tiny watch that my grandma gave me went missing. And like, girl, back in the day, those were like my 2 prized possessions. And like I told my parents that they went missing and I was like, there's no way that Kaylee could have took it. Like, I don't think that she would do that to me. And my parents were like, well, you don't have to accuse her, so maybe just ask her if like she took them or maybe they got mixed up in her bag, which like there's no way they could have. Like someone would have had to purposely put them in there. So I text her and I'm just like, hey girl, like this and this is missing. Like, did you grab it? Did you see it? Do you know where it is? She was just like, no, like why would you accuse me of that? Like I would never do that to you. And I was like, okay, like I just backed off and I just like was like, whatever. Then I texted my other friends separately and I was like, hey, have you guys seen my watch or my lip oil or whatever? And kind of where I started to feel betrayed is when I texted one of my friends in the friend group, Jenny. I was like, hey girl, like have you seen my watch? And she was like, girl, I was just over at Kaylee's house and I saw it on her dresser. I'm telling you, jaw was dropped. I was like, so the next day I texted Kaylee and I was like, hey, Jenny told me that she saw it on your dresser. Like I sent her a picture of the watch and I was like, are you sure you haven't seen it? And then she texted me back like a few hours later and she was like, oh my gosh, like it got mixed up in my makeup bag. Like I'm so sorry. Da, da, da. And then she returned it and it was fine. Okay, so like a few more weeks went by and like I kept having sleepovers with her and I would notice like more little things kept going missing. And like my guard was already up. So I would already like put up all my special things away and like keep out cheap things, you know, so she wouldn't steal like what I actually wanted. And then I started hanging out with Jenny, the other girl without Kaylee, and I didn't want to talk bad about Kaylee, but I was just like, hey, like, have you guys noticed that like anything goes missing when you hang out with Kaylee? And they literally got all offended. They were like, Maya, like, why would you say that? Like, why would you talk bad about her? Da, 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 da. And I was like, I'm not, like, I'm just saying, like, I'm not accusing her of it anyway, but like, this happened several times and like a lot of things go missing when she stays over at my house. And I'm just saying, like, if anyone else, like, is experiencing the same thing. So a week goes by and then I'm spending the night at Kaylee's house and Kaylee goes, Jenny and the other girl told me what you said, that you think I'm a thief. And I was like, I don't think you're a thief. I was just saying that a lot of my stuff goes missing when you go over to my house, and I'm just saying, I hope that you're not stealing things from me. So that conversation calms down and like fast forward to the next day, I'm about to go home. My mom picks me up and I get home, and by the way, like at this time, like I was in 7th or 8th grade, so I had like screen time on my phone, so I couldn't text anyone before 12 o'clock, and my mom picked me up at like 10:30, and by the time I got home it was like 11, and I opened my bag and I'm like unpacking my sleepover bag, and I noticed that a pair of AirPods in there that aren't mine. So I was like kind of freaking out, and I was like trying to text Kaylee that her AirPods were in my bag, but I was having screen time so I couldn't text her yet. And like literally 5 minutes before I was about to go downstairs and tell my parents that her AirPods are in my bag, her parents call my parents and are like, oh my gosh, Maya stole Kaylee's AirPods. Then my parents call me downstairs and they're like, Maya, why are her AirPods in your bag? And I'm like, I literally didn't do that, and like I didn't put them in there, like da da da. And my parents were like, Maya, we're so disappointed, like why would you steal her AirPods? And I was like, parents, I think she just set me up because I was accusing her of stealing my shit. Then my parents were like, okay, whatever. And then her mom came and picked up the AirPods that later day. And I was so embarrassed because I was like, I did not steal those AirPods. I can't believe like she would just set me up like that. And then I texted my other friends after like my screen time was over, and I was like, I can't believe like Kaylee like set me up and like da da da. And they were like, Maya, she didn't set you up. You're a thief, and you were accusing her to cover it up the whole entire time. And I was like, what? So apparently like she was bawling and on FaceTime with them and guilt tripping them, saying that I was accusing her because I was stealing her stuff. And I was like, no, I literally wasn't.
Am I in the wrong for not paying for my parents' vacation after they sacrificed so much to raise me? So I'm in my late 20s and recently got a promotion at work. Nothing wild, I'm not rich, but I'm finally comfortable for the first time in my adult life. I paid off some debt, treated myself to a trip, and posted a few photos on Instagram of me in Italy eating pasta and thriving. Cue the guilt trip. A few days after I got back, my parents called me and said, wow, must be nice to have extra money. You know, we've never had a real vacation in our whole marriage. Just saying. I laughed it off, but then my mom straight up asked if I would consider gifting them a trip to Hawaii for their anniversary. She said it would be a full circle moment for them after all the sacrifices they made to give me a good life. Important context, my parents were not poor. They were middle class and comfortable. I never went without, but they weren't martyrs. I had clothes, food, a car at 17, and they helped a little with college, but not a ton. They didn't pay for school trips, dances, or anything extra. I got jobs to cover that myself. I told them that I was proud of where I am now, but I wasn't in a place to fund someone else's luxury vacation. I reminded them I still have student loans and barely have a savings cushion. They went off, said I was ungrateful, selfish, and materialistic. My mom cried and said, "We gave you everything and this is how you repay us?" My dad threw in, "Guess we should have focused on ourselves instead of putting our lives on hold for you. Did you raise me expecting a return on investment? Because that's what it sounds like." Now it's radio silence. My aunt texted me and said that they were devastated and that I could have at least offered something small. But like, what? A discounted cruise? A pity plane ticket? I genuinely don't understand how me being stable turned into me being obligated to fund their bucket list. They weren't even subtle about it. It was less, "It would mean a lot," and more, "We deserve this because we raised you." I told a few friends and the reactions were mixed. Some said I should have expected this, especially being an only child. Others said parents don't get to demand lifelong rewards for doing the bare minimum. I love them, I do, but I feel like they see my success as something they're owed instead of something that I worked for. And I'm wondering now if I was actually being harsh. So, am I in the wrong for not paying for their dream vacation even after they sacrificed everything for me?